This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse. We'll start at verse 3. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of the coming? What shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Jesus, who you people ignorant call Jesus, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. Verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rachakodas Bakatham. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's the brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And basically came across this article on Newsbreak. Through the Spirit, I've been doing videos lately about either the impeding food crisis or the inflation, which go hand in hand to a degree, because there may be some food, but if the money is inflated or the food is too expensive for those that are have-nots, it talks about in the scriptures that Yasharallah are the poor and needy. Most of Yasharallah or Israel, are either working poor, living paycheck to paycheck, or they are on some kind of government assistance. So, like the brother Bakor Muff made mention of, he said, "What happens when the government can't assist you anymore? You got inflation kicking in, but the government hasn't said anything about any stimulus. Now there is stimulus being done. It's all kind of stimulus programs for those that own their own home, yada yada yada. Because Jake always looking for something for free. I constantly mention that this guy I work with, that the super nigga, right? And the funniest part is the Lord's so funny. He said up there, now you want to talk to me, because he said that same day when he got offended, he says that same day the stuff that we was talking about ended up coming up on his Newsbreak app. And his girl, he talked to his girl like, man, me and the dude was just at the work talking about this. So he come ask me like, what's going to happen? And you be hoping, because, we've been beaten so low. I be really hoping that our people get it. But at the same time, I'm a realist. Scriptures say that our people ain't going to get it. More of our people going to be destroyed than going to be saved. That's in the Bible. We're in danger of running out of food. Higher prices and demand squeeze food banks. And people taking this lightly, not understanding what it talks about in scriptures in the book of First Thessalonians. People say peace and safety. Then sudden destruction shall come upon them. Roughly paraphrased. You got people that's like la 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 in la la land without a care in the world, not understanding that these people are manufacturing a food crisis. Because in order to get control, they're going to actually, the number one means of controlling the people is through food. Because we all got to eat. A paraplegic that can't move still got to ingest food. So the scriptures speak on famines. That's prophesied. As a matter of fact, let me get something. In the book of Second Ezra chapter 15, no, 16. This is Second Ezra 16 and 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. When you go into the word scourges, it's like a whip. It scourges the flesh. And the Lord uses these different plagues, famine, plague, tribulation, as a means to get you to amend meaning to change. You know, they put a law in place and then they amend it. Showing you another difference between the scriptures and Esau Edom's kingdom, because in the Bible, when it talks about the word of a king has power. When a king made a decree, he couldn't go back and change it. But these devils, when they create laws, they amend them on a daily day basis. And that's confusion. You know, when a king said, when you go into the book of Esther, which made it so powerful and deep, basically when the king made the decree to go kill the Israelites, he couldn't take that back. Even when he found out that Esther was an Israelite and he had great love for Esther. You know, I used to look at it being like, I ain't gonna lie, somewhat sexist. I wouldn't read certain stories, but when you read the scriptures, you can't leave out no book. You know, those are very powerful books, Judith and Ruth and Esther. Because although the account is based on a female, it was me, you know, at the end of the day, you saw the Lord working through them women as well. Put it like that. I ain't gonna go into too much more detail, but also when you go into the book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, the book of Sirach, chapter 39. I remember the elder Yashawamba brought this out because, you know, when you think of them famines, you know, it talk about spirits made for vengeance, because that's a spirit. Like right now, you got a spirit on the earth, a spirit of great like suffering and death. It's a lot of people dying. You know, if you ever look at that Cleveland Remembrance page, it seems like somebody getting judged every day. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 28. And the point is verse 29. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. That's how the Lord is going to use to judge the people. And famine is constantly mentioned in the scriptures. Scriptures talk about there's no new thing under the sun. You know, I was just speaking on this. You know, you got to understand, it was just a major famine in the land of Moab, in the land of China, not more than what, 60, 70 years ago. You know, when you go into Stalin, Stalin, I believe. Like he literally tried to starve the people out. What's that guy that Tyson got actually tattooed on his body? The Chinese dictator. He tried to starve his people out. Because food has always been used as a weapon. You know, and when you go into Esau Edom, which is the son of perdition, meaning the son of destruction, he weaponizes everything. This man has weaponized the very air. He's weaponized the water with the fluoride. He's spraying chemtrails in the air. The air is not like it used to be when you used to go out when you was a child. Pay attention. People don't even look up though. You got all these stupid ass people sitting there talking about if it's a guy. I was talking to this Edomite. I couldn't figure out if he's an Edomite or a Jake. With that statement, you to solidify who you are. Because Esau Edom doesn't really believe in the scriptures. Jake might not have, truth, or might not know the truth. They might wholeheartedly believe in sweet baby Jesus, though. Believe that you're supposed to just, let a motherfucker just smack you all in the forehead. Did you know when you read the scriptures in the book of Luke, the Messiah told Peter to get a sword? That's how the fuck he got the sword to cut off his ear. Pay attention to that one. Where you thought the sword just popped up out of nowhere? I'm gonna bring out a little bit of this article because, like I said, I've been having a heck of a day. See how Satan getting busy. And then the thing is, I'm gonna get busy with Satan. So the article is out of Business of CNN. It says we're in danger of running out of food, higher prices and demand squeeze food banks, which ain't a good thing. You got to understand. I was talking to that same goofy ass individual. He was up there. Oh, yeah, it's always been times of this and times of that. When you really read the Bible, you'll hear about times of hard times, like the siege of Masada. They starved to the point where they ate their fucking kids. They ate their shoes because shoes is made out of leather for the most part. Have you ever been that hungry that you Have you ever you watch these movies about cannibalism? Book of Eli is one of them. He was talking about the people that had the shakes, because the people that was eating human flesh, they had a distinct thing that they did. They would shake. That's why he asked him to show him his hands to see if they were shaking. Why do you think these movies, the movie The Road that brothers constantly mention, go watch that. It show you how a bitch don't really got no faith. She had her son and walked away from her fucking family. And probably was raped and ravished and all that. But out of fear. That's what a lot of women gonna do. And brothers experiencing that right now. During the little punk ass CV shit. When you was tested to a small degree with, is you gonna hold firm on your integrity or you gonna take this shot? Now you got a military lawyer talking about you can't even classify the people that took that shit as human beings anymore. Do you know that? It says the swift rise in food prices has led Kay O'Reilly to hang outside her local. These motherfuckers cannot write. Has led Kay O'Reilly to hang outside. It's supposed to be outside, not outside her local Amazon warehouse in Virginia Beach, Virginia, to see if it has any extra eggs, milk, meat, or produce to spare. The visits are part of O'Reilly's efforts at food wrangling to make sure the chapel pantry at Eastern Shore Chapel Episcopal Church has enough groceries to provide to its clients. And the thing is, no matter how much people put an effort in, because you got sincere people really trying to hope and make sure people be okay. But what you don't realize is the same power that you print. Well, it's not the same power because, people don't understand the God of the Bible. It talks about having a zeal for the Most High, but not according to knowledge. People probably would fear. See, the thing is, it is a video I did years ago based off of something that was said in the movie The Bronx Tale. And what was his name? Damn, I can't think of the young dude's name. But if you wasn't aware, that movie's supposed to be based on Robert De Niro's life. That's why he was dating a little black girl, because Robert De Niro married a black woman. That's why I think Robert De Niro's a Jake. It's not always about physical appearance, Because you could have a motherfucker blacker than tar that's a straight coon tear. That's why the scriptures talk about separating the wheat from the tares. And it tells you in that actual passage about that's the harvest. Talk about separating the goats from the sheep. All this division. Bible constantly talks about division, but you goofy ass people talking about everybody come together, la la la. When it's the complete opposite. And that's show you how powerful the Lord is. It's one book, like it's one ring, right? But many of doctrines with it. Because based on the message can change your perspective of something. When you go into the Esau Edom's philosophy and how he breaks down the Bible, is completely contrary to what the Bible says and what we say. The Bible never mentions hell. I was just telling this fucking Edomite that because he trying to be funny, talking about 666. And I'm up there like, oh, this motherfucker trying to get a rise out of me. Like, you don't even understand what the 666 is. The elder Yashawamba got a beautiful video and breaks down that Pi Phi stigma. Salakia, that all being said, I said, the scriptures doesn't actually mention a place in where you burn forever. It talks about a lake of fire, but, that's taken out of context. But then it'd be straightforward scriptures where it'd be like a woman ain't supposed to wear what pertains to a man. So a woman shouldn't really be wearing pants. Just like a man shouldn't be wearing no dress. But they overlook all that shit. There's something that's clear cut that's right in your face. But then you take the lake of fire. That means you're going to burn forever. No, it don't. It tells you in the scriptures that the Most High God is not unrighteous, that he will basically make you suffer forever. That's in the scriptures. So Salakia, because this is turning into lessons within lessons. I'm just kind of frustrated, at this fucked up place. I had to just tell somebody that. Like I grew up, they say it's easy to get in trouble and hard to get up out of it, ain't it? Even when you didn't do it. That's America. It's a whole bunch of laws in the Bible. The Bible's so cold, even for instance, if something happened to somebody that you love on accident, say for instance, somebody accidentally died, but the Lord know, it's an avenger. Somebody gonna want blood for that. You had a city to run to actually, so you wouldn't be judged until, basically the judge or a priest actually overheard the matter. That's how, to every detail, the Most High broke everything down. When you look at how our ecosystem works, everything is literally set up upon one another. We breathe in the oxygen that the plants emit, and we breathe out carbon dioxide that the plants need. Everything is sustainable on one another. This devil is so much the son of perdition, he cut down the fucking trees. I mean, that's why I say it's not very, if you have a spiritual eye, it's not hard to see what we be talking about. It's just maybe not meant for you to see it. They was talking about this old episode of, I think it's either Star Trek or something, when literally, it was an old TV show, but the elder, Manakta Zakba from South Carolina constantly brings it up. I noticed within like the last 3 years, I've seen him bring it up a few different times. He'll show it every once in a while. And it was an old episode where they showed all the black people basically got beamed up on a spaceship, on a chariot. You think that's by coincidence? when Jake was out there in them fields picking cotton, and they was up there talking about swing low, sweet chariot, what do you think they was talking about? Salakia, it says, these days, O'Reilly, the pantry's director, is seeing more folks in need of assistance. And of course, because right now, these days, more people are suffering. And with more people suffering and going without eating, you're going to have more crime that's going to take place. And that's how their whole plan is to bring in and usher in this, this NWO, the order out of chaos. It's going to be so chaotic out here that they're going to feel that they're going to have to literally bring the order by force. And when people, you got stupid ass people right now that's willing to give up their right to bear arms because they talk about these students, these school shootings. My children go to a fucking little elementary school, right? They got a metal detector right in the school. I've yet to find a school where a Jake kid shot up the school. Where that happens usually is little Edomite kids. Yet and still, it's always a metal detector in our school. So if you got a metal detector at the fucking school, how is they shooting up these fucking schools? Make you question, huh? But no, a two-third ass nigga that's in the world, he ain't gonna question. Just like some of these foolish ass Edomites that really trusting in their own people. When they own people so devilish, they don't give a fuck about the lower end Edomites. You got Edomites that's willing to give up their right to bear arms. It's a reason why the men that came before that created and wrote that Declaration of Independence, it's a reason why they put the right to bear arms in there. And the movie V Vendetta says it best. It says people should not be afraid of their governments. The governments should be afraid of their people. When you go into the word government, it literally means to control, mind control. Because ment is mental, govern is control. So they telling you, this get to the point, they telling you, do you know that basically just me doing this video is an act of terrorism to these people? It's going to come to the point that you reading the Bible is going to become an act of terrorism to these people. Anything that's basically bucks up against the narrative of what they say is right and wrong is going to be a terroristic act. It says, as soaring inflation eats away at what they can afford at the supermarket, at the same time, federal pandemic relief programs such as monthly and enhanced child tax credit payments have ended. So what would be their next solution? To pass more money? But you don't think that you got analysts and economists that work for this government. You don't think they telling you the numbers? That's why they talking about it's going to be, a shortage of food and it's inevitable. That's why they talking about it's going to be a crash and it's inevitable. But the pantry is contending with higher costs and supply chain problems, which have made it much harder for O'Reilly to fill the shelves. And the thing is this, these Americans that tell you we all in together, when it's always been separate here for groups of certain people, I mean, a lot of niggas forgot what you read in school and what you heard. Because I remember when I grew up, when I was going to school, we came over in this bitch on slave ships. We've always been second-class citizens. A nigga looking to motherfucking LeBron James with his sellout ass talk about some, oh yeah, if he could make it, I could make it. Little do you know, you wasn't brought here to enjoy yourself or to have your way and fuck with, you was brought here to actually understand suffering and to hopefully repent. I done got pissed off, so I mean, I'm gonna probably make this an open forum or something, because it's supposed to be about the. Well, the spirit is like the wind, and you need to follow it whichever way it shall go. Roughly paraphrase. So, famine is nothing new, and I'm gonna prove a point to it. The brother brought out Lamentations, and I like how he brought it out because he went deep in Lamentations. They talk about how when they was, because when you go into Lamentation, basically Lamentations was like a part of Jeremiah, because he watched his people suffering. You got to understand, Jeremiah was in the kingdom right before it went into captivity. They're lamenting, mourning, Lamentations. And it talks about in Lamentations, those that die by the sword is worse to die by famine than to die by the sword. Because if you die by the sword, you gonna die quicker. When you die of starvation, you pine away, meaning your body eat itself. You know how horrible that is? That's why you got people that'll kill their kids when they don't see any hope. In the scriptures, the people ate their kids. Imagine that. The people that's supposed to be the closest and joined on to the Most High, the most literally had lost so much faith that they ate their own fucking kids. That's a horrible judgment. Just like it'd be a horrible judgment for a man to be penetrated by another man, without being able to fight back or stop it. That's a horrible judgment. Well, just imagine like when a woman being ravaged, taken hold of. So for a parent to have to watch your child suffer slowly, like that's how, and it tells you that the sins of this place have reached on to heaven. That's why you're seeing all this shit take place now. And a lot of people don't want to hear people get offended by it. But know why you offended? Because it's cutting your spirit. It talks about that in the scriptures in the book of Hebrews. It's a double-edged sword. I could cut myself with the words I'm reading. I'm a parent. But I also have the understanding that literally I know the only thing that's going to save me in that day is being right with the power that's going to bring this. Because ultimately, it's the Most High God that's bringing this. So in the scripture tells you there's no new thing under the sun. And this is a case of famine. This is the book of 2 Ezra chapter 6. This is 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 24. And it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his hosts and went up and besieged Samaria. So when you go into Samaria, that was the capital of Israel. Now, you go into Israel and Judah. I asked my demon that thinks she taught me the Bible. When she did make this statement. She said that I didn't teach you anything. I helped you remember what you always knew. As much as she a demon, she told me that. Verse 25, it says, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. So an ass is a donkey. So they basically was selling the donkey head. Now, when you go into a head, the head of any animal is got the least amount of meat on it. But it's showing you inflation had kicked in because for this little morsel of meat, because it's more skull and bone than it is meat, it said it went for 80. So a score is 20. So it's like 80 pieces of silver for something that didn't have very much meat on it. and a fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. So for a dove, meaning a dove, the bird, for its shit, they wanted 5 pieces of silver. That's your that's your inflation. And that's why I constantly was bringing up the brother Bukhari Mouth, because he's been doing videos about the food shortages, and I've been doing videos on the inflation and showing you how the spirit working, because I listen to that brother a lot. I doubt he listened to me because I'm a lowly individual, but that brother is mighty in the spirit. Saying all that to say this, I mean, the elders listen to that brother, so I know, we ain't following the individual, we following the spirit. The spirit is heavy on him. But saying all that to say this, showing you how the spirit work, the inflation and the food shortage go hand in hand. Because if I don't have the means to buy the food, then that's a famine to me. If I can't afford to buy this shit, it might be food there, but famine is your lack of ability to get the food. It's not a complete, it's not like it's just no food at all. The scriptures show you that. They saving up food now. Why do you think they went and basically took all those different seeds and put them in a vault, a big ass vault? You could go look that up. They got the real corn, not the GMO corn, but the real corn. They got the real tomato seeds, not the GMO tomato seeds, because everything we're eating is pretty much genetically modified. And then want to hear their biggest plan? They want to give you a big ass. They talking about go back to eating fucking like bugs and shit. And people like when you go into roaches are protein. I did a video about in China, they got roach farms. For what purpose? Because they gonna serve them bitches to you. When you go watch the movie Snowpiercer and the back of the train, what they was eating was bars that was basically made up of roaches. You got motherfucking, what's that leak guy said up there and said? He said, basically, people need to kill their dog and start eating lentils. Why they gonna eat good food? They gonna eat the real shit. Because on the movie, that same movie Snowpiercer, at the front of the train, they was partying, getting high, drunk, eating real food, steak. If you've never seen that movie, I suggest you go watch it. It got the guy from Captain America. It's called Snowpiercer. I hear that they turned it into a series. And as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, they cried a woman unto him, saying, "Help my Lord, O king." Verse 27, and he said, "If the Lord Yahweh do not help thee, whence shall I help thee?" So he said, if the Lord Yahweh, the Most High God, ain't helping you, how I'm gonna help you? He said, out of the bar floor or out of the wine press. And the king said unto, now listen to that. He said, off of the floor or out of the wine press. So you had 2 calamities. You could call it a bad situation. How I'm gonna help you? Verse 28, and the king said unto her, what aileth thee? And she answered, this woman said unto me, give thy son. So she said it was another woman, said, give me your son, that we may eat him today. So like it said, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. So basically they came to a pact. A lady said, we gonna eat your son today, and tomorrow we'll eat my son. So we boiled my son and did eat him. And I said unto her the next day, give thy son that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. Now that bitch bugged out. You know how many demons is on you? Like when you understand real shit. And the thing is this, people's like, that's far-fetched. You had motherfuckers, what's that? I forgot what year it was with talking about the bath salt shit that was happening in Florida. And the motherfucker was basically trying to eat people. Remember that shit? Y'all remember that? Remember when the CDC got some shit out there talking about preparing for a zombie apocalypse. Because you people that don't have anything are going to be the zombies. They got an episode of Black Mirror that showed that where the soldiers was killing all these people that was fucked up, but they put it in their brains. They had a microchip in their brain, and they was able to make the soldiers think that they was like monsters, when in actuality they was poor, fucked up people that was starving. Verse 30, and it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he rent his clothes, meaning he tore his clothes, because when you tore your clothes back then, it was a sign of mourning. So he like, God damn, you know what I mean? Now I ain't say God. He's like, God damn. Well, Salaki, I don't think I did say God. But Yahweh knows. But damn, you know what I mean? Do you know what the meaning of the word damn? I'm pretty sure he felt like they was damned at that time. Can you imagine you being a king and one of you? Because as a king, a true king, you're not thinking selfishly about what you got and what. No, you thinking about the people you are serving first and foremost. The elder apostle Tahar literally made this statement, which is in the scriptures. It says the king's supposed to be the most humblest of all the people. So you more so a servant than anything. So just imagine one of your citizens come to you relying on you to help. It's like when a child comes to their parent relying on them to help. That's why it's going to be so fucked up for these wicked ass individuals that got children. That's why the scriptures talk about woe to them that give suck in that day. He said, imagine her coming to you and tell you that she had to eat her kid. And he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth with him upon his flesh. And sackcloth was another way for you to understand that you was in deep mourning. That's why it tells us to prophesy in sackcloth. So when you got these camps up here partying and all that fucking shit, when we literally supposed to be mourning, you're supposed to be mourning your captivity. The fuck, how could you be happy here? I just literally had this Edomite bitch show me how much of a nigga she look at me like. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, wow. I mean, I'm be honest, it's taking a lot of my willpower not to go do something stupid. Because I'm in close vicinity of the place and all that. This is the most time I'm supposed to be the most super spiritual. All the little shit that, all the carnality, like I said, because Satan gonna use I have a temper. I'll be honest, and it talks about that in the scriptures. A man that don't rule of his city. Rule of his spirit. It's like a city broken into, roughly paraphrased. But Satan especially this close to the end, like a brother was just talking about how his Eve had a dream, and he just said that he know we close to the end. I ain't had a chance to check it out, but you got Achium and they children and they Eves and all that having dreams, because we close to the end. And that's why you about to see this devil come down with great wrath. First, he's at war with the people. And one of the number one war tactics when you at war is to stop the supply of food. So again, for those that think that it's far-fetched that this devil gonna starve you out, well, we shall see. If you are so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole, Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to call Loyum, La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Rachakodas Wakatam. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of great mills who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akwat and the Yakim out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly this was edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to the truth. To you I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come up with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Shalom.